What's which is Timmy's here. With today being the birthday of the late great James Gandolfini, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite James Gandolfini film and TV projects. Because the guy is, he was really iconic with obviously the iconic of The Sopranos. He's done some interesting films as well. So here is my official top 10. Alright, number 10 is sadly his last movie here, and that is the 2014 film The Drop. Now, this movie starred Tom Hardy and Noomi Rapace, and sadly, again, this was actually Gandolfini's last film he did before he passed away. Here, of course, is a crime drama that follows Bob, who's a quiet Brooklyn bartender, and his cousin Marv, who runs a bar used for like money to drop for catching mobs here. And of course, when the bar closes, they face like pressure from criminals and cops here. Gandolfini plays cousin Marv, the bar's like former owner here, and he is really great. Like really showcases like fine acting chops. Of course, Tom Hardy was great in this. Noomi Rapace, really wonderful film if you guys haven't seen that one, and very underrated too, by the way. All right, number 9 is another one of his finer films, and this is actually one that's a little more different from his like usual stuff, and that is the movie Enough Said. Enough Said starred James Gandolfini and former Seinfeld star Julie Louis-Dreyfus. It is a rom-com about this divorced woman named Eva, who begins dating Albert, who's a sweet and imperfect man here. And Gandolfini actually plays Albert, who's like very kind-hearted, and very interesting to see like Gandolfini, playing like the romantic leading man. Because obviously, when you think of Gandolfini, you always just think of him as the as a tough guy from Sopranos and stuff. So seeing him like do a rom com, I thought was pretty interesting. His chemistry with Julie Louis-Dreyfus was really good. It is a really decent little rom com that is well worth watching. There. All right, number 8 is Welcome to the Raleighs. Now, this movie, of course, starred Melissa Leo, Kristen Stewart, and it stars this couple played by Gandolfini and Melissa Leo, who plays a grieving couple who travels to New Orleans, where the husband, played by Gandolfini, befriends with this dancer played by Kristen Stewart, and their unlikely bond each like confront personal pain here. And Gandolfini really plays the part very well. He of course plays the businessman well, mourning his daughter's death here. His chemistry with Kristen Stewart is really good. It is a really decent film that I think he could have easily got an Oscar nomination for, but so that didn't happen. Alright, number 7 is Zero Dark Thirty. Now here you got Gandolfini, who plays Leon Panetta, who's a CIA director, and his role is like very brief, but he actually did have some really fun key scenes, bringing like gravitas and understand authorities here. And of course, directed by Catherine Bigelow, Jessica Chastain, Jason Clarke. I really quite liked his part here. He really plays the CIA director pretty well. And again, he doesn't really have like much screen time, but his screen time is very brief, but it is very memorable, to say at least. All right, coming in at number 6 is another film he did in 2012, and that is Killing Them Softly. This, of course, stars Brad Pitt, James Gandolfini, Ray Liotta, Scoot McNairy, Ben Mendelsohn. I think this is actually the one that really put Scoot McNairy on the map. And it is a crime thriller set during 2008 financial crisis and follows Jackie Cogan, who's a hitman, hired to restore order after a mob-protected poker game is robbed here. Gandolfini plays like this wash-up hitman who is brought to assist Jackie here, and really seeing like two mob legends like Ray Liotta and James Gandolfini, R.I.P. to them both. Seeing both those two star in this was really cool. A very, very underrated little gem. Brad Pitt was great in this. I really had a fun time with it. It's such a shame it didn't really get like talked about as much, but it's a really good one. Alright. Coming in at number 5 is The Last Castle. Now, of course, this stars the late great Robert Redford, James Gandolfini, Mark Ruffalo, and it is a military drama where disgraced Army General Eugene Irwin is sent to a military prison run by the adoring Colonel Winter, and he rallies fellow inmates to challenge like Winter's corrupt regime here. And of course, you got Gandolfini as Colonel Winter, who's the prison's as sadistic warden here. And he's like very, he masters his cruel, but he gives such a great performance here. Really showcase like his acting chops that he's not just a guy from The Sopranos, and he is really wonderful in this one. Sadly, we lost two stars at the last castle, Gandolfini and Redford. Number four is the HBO movie, and that is Cinema Virtue. Now, Cinema Virtue was, of course, a HBO movie. Obviously, he has a good relationship with HBO, because one of his most iconic shows and all. Uh, Now, of course, if you guys don't know much about this one here, it's pretty much an HBO that dramatizes the making of an American family. Uh, and, of course, like, Gandolfini plays like the documentaries ambitious producer. He is driven to new like raw human emotions and stuff. And yeah, this is a really decent one. A great performance by Tim Robbins. I mean, it's well worth watch there. All right. Oh, what else we got here? All right. Coming in at number three is True Romance. Of course, directed by the late great Tony Scott, starring Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette. This is, of course, written by Quentin Tarantino, and is a crime film that follows Clarence, who's a comic book store clerk, and you also got this Alabama call girl who falls in love and go on the run after stealing some drugs here. And you got some great cast members like Gandolfini plays like this ruthless mob enforcer sent back to track down Clarence. This is, of course, one of his earliest roles, obviously, and he really plays the part very well. Of course, you got Sam Jackson, Brad Pitt, uh, Gary Oldman. I mean, it is a '90s, like early '90s classic that's well worth watching there. All right, coming in at number two is Not Fade Away. Now, Not Fade Away was like one of the, I guess you could say, breakout role of actor John Magaro, who will go on to star in that movie First Cow. And he was also recently in Past Lives, just recent. This movie is actually directed by David Chase, who obviously created The Sopranos. And Not Fade Away is set in 1960s New Jersey, and is a coming-of-age drama that follows Douglas, who is a teenager who forms a rock band with dreams of stardom here. And Gandolfini plays like his working class father, who, a little short spoiler, his character is battling cancer. And this movie actually came out like few months before Gandolfini's passing. And sadly, Gandolfini's character in this was dying. So watching it now is very heartbreaking, knowing that he really did pass away. And it's a really good one, to say the least. Of course, you also have like Brad Garrett popping up in this. I mean, it's a really decent one. Great music. Really showcased it, like David Chase's directing talents outside The Sopranos, and it's a really good one there. Very underrated little gem if you guys haven't seen that. And my number one favorite project of his is obviously, this is probably predictable. Number one is none other than one of the greatest TV shows of all time, The Sopranos. I mean, the groundbreaking TV series following Tony Soprano, a New Jersey mob boss, as he navigates the tensions between his criminal empire and personal life and all. And Gandolfini is just great. Like, obviously, he won a couple of Emmys for this, well deserved there. One of his most iconic roles to date. Great cast from like Michael Imperioli to Steve Scarparia. I mean, Edie Falco. It's just such a great one, and it was of course such a shame when he did pass away. And we actually, since then, we have lost a lot of Sopranos actors since. I mean, Tony Sirico sadly passed away in recent years, but The Sopranos will always live on. One of the greatest shows of all time. Really cemented HBO as a station, and it's just one of the greatest. And if you guys never seen The Sopranos, highly recommend it. And if you guys never seen the documentary about The Sopranos, that's also pretty decent. And really weird ending. Like, till this day, who did not remember that ending? Like, the whole thing just went to black. Till this day, boy, till this day, lots of people kept calling the station asking what happened to the TV or whatever. I mean, that is still one of the most weirdest. Like, I really quite like Family Guy's little parody with it with Caillou and Arthur. That if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just watch just YouTube Family Guy, Caillou, and Arthur Sopranos. You probably know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's pretty much it here. Here is my quick rundown. Number 10, The Drop. 9, Enough Said. 8, Welcome to the Raleighs. 7, Zero Dark Thirty. 6, Killing Them Softly. 5, The Last Castle. 4, Cinema Virtue. 3, True Romance. 2, Not Fade Away. And number 1 is The Sopranos. Now, there's those other ones I probably could have added. He actually did also appear on Sesame Street before. Like, just look up Sesame Street and James Gandolfini and Zoe. You'll definitely find that one out. Who would ever expect Tony Soprano to ever appear on Sesame Street is always pretty cool. Who remembers that TV movie Nicky Deuce, which I always thought of it as, let's say, The Sopranos for kids. Yeah, just look at Nicky Deuce. It saw the kid who played Gibby from iCarly. It's a more of a guilty pleasure, but it's okay. It had a couple of Sopranos actors in that. His last TV credit was The Night of. On the film front, Burt Wonderstone with Jim Carrey. Really underrated little comedy right there. Violet and Daisy that he did with Saoirse Ronan. Where the Wildings Are, which was also pretty good. That would probably be my honorable mention. In the Loop, which is okay, but it's not really like my favorites of his. So definitely not Surviving Christmas. I mean, yeah, 8mm that he did with Nick Cage. The Mexican with Brad Pitt. The Man Who Wasn't There with Billy Bob Thornton. Get Shorty, Crimson Tide. I mean, he's had more great stuff other than Sopranos. Like, obviously, when you think of him, you always think of him as Tony Soprano. But he has actually had some other good credits to his name, and he is and will always be missed. Let me ask you guys, what is your favorite Tony Soprano film and TV projects? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Tim Simon.